Just to explain a little bit about what this book is that it's one of the 66 books that make up the Bible. The word Bible just means library. If you study French, you'll know that bibliothèque is French for library. I'm sure it's similar in other languages as well. I wouldn't know. But anyway, this is one of the 66 books of the Bible. It's called the Gospel according to John. So it's written by a guy called John. And in this, he is telling the life and times of Jesus of Nazareth. So Jesus, who lived 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem. This is, if you like, a biography of Jesus. So what we have here in John chapter 14 from verse 1 is Jesus. It's called like the upper room discourse. Basically, the night before Jesus died on the cross, you might have heard that about Jesus. The night before he died on the cross, he shared a meal with his disciples and he spoke to them many things. And so what we've got here is Jesus, if you like, at the beginning, chapter 14, verse 1. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. So he's like reassuring his best friends about what's going to happen because he is preparing to die. So he's like talking to his friends, he's like comforting them, he's saying, it's okay, don't worry, don't panic. But what we find in these verses, and you see if you turn over to page 86, you see that highlighted bit, it's been highlighted for you because the people who put this book together believe that this is an important verse. And the verse says, Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So when people are looking at John's Gospel, this biography of Jesus, when they get to this part of the Gospel, chapter 14, often the conversation is about world religions, comparative religion, religious pluralism. So there's loads of religions in the world. They all say you can get to God somehow. In some religions you have to do this or that. In other religions you don't do that at all. You do something else. In some religions you've got to visit certain places. Well, here Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So this is a statement of exclusivity. So often the conversation that's based around here is, it's about world religions. No one can really know God unless they know Jesus. So it's seen as a controversial statement. Now we could spend 20 minutes having a think about world religions and what they all teach and all that sort of stuff. But my guess is, and if you want to talk about it, we can chat about that afterwards, that most of your time is not spent walking around campus or down in the centre of Bath thinking about, I wonder if all the paths do really lead up to the top of the mountain. Imagine when you're sitting in your room, you're not thinking to yourself, well, Buddhism says this, and Islam says this, and Zoroastrianism says this, and Christianity says this. Which one's really right? Like if you have concerns about world religions and you want to talk about those, I would love to chat to you afterwards. But as I say, I don't think any of you have been thinking about that today. I don't think this week that has entered your mind. This month, maybe even this year, you've sat there and thought to yourself for any length of time, I wonder which religion is the right one, because I'm not sure. So what I want to do is I want to take this verse and take it in two halves. So the first one, Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. Just that statement. We'll look at the second bit in a minute. But I am the way, the truth and the life. And people say, Jesus said this. Well, let me suggest to you that loads of people say this. Loads of people, whether they say it explicitly or not, are saying, I am the way, the truth and the life. Now we're just going to have a little think about this, and to do this I'm going to need a big pack of cards, which I've got here. That's handy, isn't it? Brought them with me. Right, so here's my question. If you were playing cards, I'm not going to do any magic, don't worry, or play your cards right. That's an out-of-date reference, but there we go. Right, if you were playing card, which one would you be? Right, someone come up with one? You don't have to shout it out. Anyway, we'll get to it. Here's the first one. No, not the first one, sorry. Here's the first one. The King of Diamonds. The King of Diamonds is concerned with money and possessions. The King of Diamonds says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. You want life? You need money. You want to really live? You need more money. Like the King of Diamonds could be personified by someone like Floyd Moneybags Mayweather. You know, this guy's American boxer. He makes millions of pounds every single time he fights. And so he takes pictures of himself with his private jet and his 3 Bugatti Veyrons. I don't even know what they are. But he's got 3 of them. Right? This guy is just, and he's got the dollar. He's got the dollar. He's, look at the green. Look at the green. Look how much money I've got. I'm drenched in bling. I've got swag. Now, you don't need to be Floyd Moneybags Mayweather to be the King of Diamonds. You could be the King of Diamonds on campus. Because you've got the latest phone. Your car that's sitting in the car park is actually pretty sweet. Yeah, you've got a VW Golf. Check me out. Second year student, I've got a Golf. You can be looking at your life and thinking, if only I had more money. Maybe you're absolutely skint. You've rinsed your bank account in Freshers Week. You've got nothing left. You stumble through to Christmas, but still your mind is concerned with money and possessions. And so you are listening to the King of Diamonds. And the King of Diamonds says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. You want to know the way to live? Look for me. You want to know the truth about life? You need some money. You want to really live? You need some better possessions. So that's number one. The second option you could take is the Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts. This is the person who's concerned with Bay. Yeah? The person who, like, every time that phone vibrates in their pocket, it lights up. They're like, oh, no, it's not. Oh. They put their selfie on Instagram. They're getting loads of notifications. But did that person like it? Oh, my wife, they liked it. My crush liked my selfie. Right? Or they're dreaming about the wedding. One day they're going to be there in the white dress. They're going to ride off into the sunset with Prince Charming. The Queen of Hearts, concerned with relationships. But also maybe it's relationships in another sense. It's sex and relationships. The person who's always looking to see how people are formed, how they're shaped. Who's checking out certain websites, enjoying themselves in an afternoon when they probably should be revising. Maybe hanging out late at night trying to catch someone so they can go home and sleep with them. Because life, of course, comes from sex and relationships. The Queen of Hearts says to you, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Or she usually sings it, doesn't she? Taylor Swift or Adele, one of them. They're always singing about sex and relationships. Anyway, the next one is the Jack of Clubs. The Jack of Clubs. For them it is all about leisure, free time, culture. Maybe they're obsessed with sports. Maybe they're on FIFA constantly. They know the stats for every single player. They argue about whether someone's stats went up or down based upon last season's performance. They're obsessed with checking the BBC Sport app on their phone. And every Saturday evening they are either crushed by defeats or they are thrilled with the victory. Now I know because I do all of that. The Jack of Clubs. But maybe it's not sport, maybe it's literature. Maybe it's the person who just wants to read. They've just got their book. Do not interrupt me whilst I'm halfway through a chapter. Or maybe it's music, or maybe it's art, or maybe it's travel, or maybe it's food. The people who say, oh, if you want to really live, oh, you've got to go to Venice. Oh, my days, it's so good in Venice. Oh, I've never been to Venice. Oh, it's amazing, the gondolas. Oh, it's so cultural. The things you see. Life. Oh, you've got to get out there. It's free time and leisure. You need to be living. And anyone who is not doing those things is not living. They do not have the truth. They don't know the way. So there's the Jack of Clubs. The next one coming up is the 10 of Spades. Spades, that's it. Hard work. Put the effort in. This one's about the degree. This is the one who says to you, your degree, if you don't get a 2-1, it was a waste of time coming to university, wasn't it? You're never going to get a job if you haven't got a 2-1. Come on, put some effort in. Do the coursework. It's a group project. They're not going to put the effort in. They're not going to pull their weight. You're going to have to do it, aren't you? You're going to have to do the work. A few people know that, aren't they? Yeah. You want to live, you need to get qualified. Because it is a brutal world out there, and you need to have a CV that shines when it lands on the employer's desk. So work. Work hard. Commitment to work. Once you've got the degree, then get the job. And once you're in at entry level, whatever that may be, you are going to move your way up the ladder as quickly as possible. Promotion, progress, pay rises, that's what you're living for. Recognition, making sure the boss saw that you did the work. And these are also, it's funny because some people think like that the jack of clubs is people who go to the gym. But generally, if you talk to people who go to the gym, you know, all the gains people, like properly, like, and all the girls who do the squats and everything, right? They're obsessed with how much work you're going to do. Oh, I'm going to get up earlier than everyone else. I'm going to be down there in the gym. I'm going to be sopping those shakes, that protein. I'm going to be in there. More, next rep, next set. Come on! Hard work, determination. That's how you live, isn't it? That's life. That's the way, that's the truth. Anyone who's failed to recognize that, well, they're missing out. Or maybe it's another kind of spade, the ace of spades. This is all about freedom and independence. The ace of spades, obviously a Motorhead song. Lemmy died just before Christmas, probably the first time some of you had actually heard the song. But anyway, the ace of spades, it's about being a rebel. I'm not going to listen to you. Did anyone ever used to watch Malcolm in the Middle? Did you ever watch that? Do you remember the theme song from that? You're not the boss of me now, and you ain't so big. That whole idea that you can't tell me what to do. I imagine that was probably, if you think to the last argument you had with your mum and dad, you're probably embarrassed about this, but it was probably you going, I'm going to decide what I want to do. You can't tell me what to do. I want to be independent. I want freedom. And now I'm at university, I've got it. I can decide to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. I have freedom and independence. That is vital. I will protect that at all costs. The Ace of Spades says, the way, the truth, and the life, freedom, independence. Or maybe it's not about that. Or maybe you are literally the Joker. Why is everyone so serious? Oh, why can't we all just have fun? What? University? Bothered about a degree? I'm here to go on the lash. I'm going to get battered every weekend. Do you know how much our drinks are subsidised in the student union? Let's just get wasted. Let's just have a laugh. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Like, why are you obsessing about the future? You can't control the future. You can't control what other people are going to do. Who cares about going to Venice? Let's just have a laugh. Let's just enjoy ourselves while we can. Shut up whinging about Bay. Why are you obsessed with that person? They're a moron. Just let's go out and have fun. Sorry, there's a bit came out of me there. Anyway. The point is, the Joker says that winning at life is just enjoying it while you can. Just enjoy yourself. Whatever it takes to just have fun, just do that. And there are some people who are like considered in the group or in the house, I don't know, flat share, whatever, the Joker. The one who's always got a little gag, a little punchline just to diffuse the tension. Go on, get them, they're fun, we'll have them round. The idea that life is all about enjoyment, pleasure, laughter. Now, what I want to say to you is that each of these things is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Money, possessions, they're wonderful things. You can do amazing things if you've got the money. Some of the things that people are able to create in this world, the beautiful objects that people are able to wear, the stylish clothes, they're brilliant. We should celebrate that. They're great. I love them. Relationships. can be amazing. What it feels like to be in love, to have someone look at you and say, I genuinely love you. There is no one I would rather be sitting opposite right now. You don't have to look across the table to like, I don't want to cause any issues if there's tension, right? Sex is one of the most beautiful, amazing, exciting, glorious things that we have in the world. Sports. I've watched Messi. It's breathtaking. It's unbelievable. How can someone just see everything in slow motion and yet be moving fast forward? How can he just, with his balance, how does he give people the eyes? How does he drop the shoulder? How does he score those goals? And how does he do it all without the flipping arrogance of Cristiano Ronaldo? Little dig there, again. It's beautiful. I've not been to Venice. My wife has been, and I really want to go. I went to Greece last year and I saw some beautiful things. Some culture, some history, some vistas, all sorts of amazing things. Work. There is such an amount of joy that can be gained from having done a job well. When you can sit down and say, yeah, I worked for that. I used the gifts that I've got, my brain power or my social skills, and I got something done. I feel a sense of achievement. When you're wearing that mortarboard and the gown and stuff, which, you know, it's a bit weird that you have to wear that these days. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Like that you have to wear a gown and a mortarboard still. Because you don't wear them to do lectures, unless you do. And I'm just out of touch, but there we go. Or freedom. It's horrible when people's lives are controlled by others. When they can't do what they want. When they're restrained or restricted. That can be terrible. When people get to be self-regulating or self-directing, that's a wonderful thing. And jokes, fun. Enjoy yourselves. You are only young once. Like, don't take yourselves too seriously. See, honestly, don't take yourselves too seriously. But wonderful though these things are, when you listen to them say to you, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That's a lie. The question is, do you believe the lie? Not do you believe it now, like when you're sitting there reviewing it, but when you're in the moment, when you're checking your balance at the cash point. Do you believe the lie? When you're looking at that person across the lecture hall, do you believe the lie? Do you think that is life, that will be truth, that's the way? No, enjoy those things, but don't believe the lie. Because Jesus was the one who said, I am the way and the truth and the life. And he allows us to understand all of those things, not as gods to whom we have to sacrifice, but as gifts to be enjoyed. But then he goes on to say, no one comes to the Father except through me. And this is a bit that gets people's backs up. How can he say those exclusive things? How can you say that every other world religion is wrong and you're the only right one? No one comes to the Father except through me. That's too exclusive. We live in a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-racial society. You can't be so exclusive. That's narrow-minded. How could Jesus be so bigoted? Well, the answer lies in the fact that Jesus is not the king of the diamonds or the hearts or the clubs or the spades, but he is the king of the cross. And the cross says the only way to get to God is if your sin is paid for by Jesus. So God has offered you a way. He has offered you a truth. He's offered you life. And he's offered it to you only in the death of himself on the cross. That is the only way you can be forgiven your sin. That's the only way you can be forgiven for using these things, not as gifts, but as gods. But trusting in these things to give you life and hope and purpose and joy. And it's the only thing that can rebuild you when these things have disappointed. When your roommate is crushed because someone just dumped them. When your bank account, seriously, you've gone past the overdraft and you're seriously wondering about how you're going to pay for the next meal. When you are deflated by the fact that you did get a third. When you're in that moment, you don't need these things bearing over you saying, you didn't do enough. You didn't listen to me. No, you need to hear Jesus say, it's okay, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. He says to his disciples at the beginning of chapter 14, do not let your hearts be troubled. These things are going to ruin you if you trust in them. He says, you believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, I'll come back and take you to be with me, so that you may also be where I am. This is the God who doesn't stand there making imperative judgments and calls that you need to do this and you need to do that in order for me to give you life. This is the God who comes to rescue you, who comes to die for you. This is the King of the cross. And he's available for you.